Hello everyone and welcome on this spacewalk around Lacabus, another showcase for MyDU, Dual Universe. We find ourselves aboard here the Behemoth, an XL wreck carrier, wreck hunting carrier built by Serenity Shipyards on the server, the third verse. So as you can see, this is a mammoth of a ship. I have several ships docked here, a few of the wrecks, some of them most of them already constructed, some of them we are keeping for the current challenge. You have several deconstructors aboard. You have them here, neatly tucked into the logo of Serenity Shipyards. But be that as it may, the Behemoth deserves a showcase of its own. This showcase is mostly about the Autopilot. So let us hop in here into the bridge. You have a nice opening here. It opens up, detects the player's vicinity, and otherwise closes it up with these force fields. In any case, the Autopilot for wreck hunting works in conjunction with our chart, which you see over here, as well as this script. The script with the 12 hexagonal buttons, which is the SRT, the Serenity Shipyards controls script. This also deserves a showcase of its own, a very intricate script which allows a lot of controls around your vehicle, from lighting, hangars, shields, etc. You can also check the damage. But what I'll focus mostly on in this video is this button here, the wreck hunt. So if I click this button here, it will scour the surroundings for wrecks, it will not find anything, and it will stop the wreck hunt and shut itself off right thereafter. The reason being that I have parked the ship right about 2.2 SU away from the nearest wreck, which is just outside the radar's range. So if I orient myself roundabout towards the target down here, and if I go into the map, and I right-click and copy the coordinates, and then I paste them right in so our arch HUD saves it as the temp 0, and if I now engage the wreck hunt, the Autopilot will start accelerating towards that target position. And if you pay close attention, you will notice that the throttle is limited to 1%. Now this is on purpose, because this is a very big ship and we don't want to waste fuel. And now as soon as we are pretty much on target within a certain threshold, the throttle engages to a maximum, which it will also tell you right here on the information screen. It said aligned, engaging full throttle, and as soon as we are on our way, it will say accelerating to target. So as we are heading and accelerating towards that target, that will take a few more minutes. The ETA still is set here to 1 minute because it only updates around every 2 seconds in order to increase the FPS of the players. The ETA here is set to about 4 minutes. And as we are accelerating towards the target, the Autopilot, the Serenity Shipyards Autopilot, will cut our thrust around 30,000 kilometers per hour. This is a configurable parameter. And the reason for this, for this cutting of the thrust is that for the seasoned wreck hunters, you will know this, is that the bottleneck in wreck hunting out here in space, we find ourselves around Lacabus. The bottleneck for wreck hunting out here is the fuel. We will run out of fuel before we run out of anything else when wreck hunting usually. And given that this is a massive XL core ship equipped with about 42, I believe it was 42 XL space engines, we have several in that direction. We have backwards facing engines in the 2 dark spots in the corners of the ship, as well as downward facing, upward facing, and sideways facing thrusters for full 3D, full axis maneuverability of the Behemoth of this ship here. And so in order to save up on fuel, the Autopilot will cut the thrust once we reach about 30,000 kilometers per hour. Now this is for this approach of this waypoint in space, the 0 temp waypoint, and as soon as we turn our face towards the actual wreck, we should now be in range of sniffing out. So if I press V, we should see a wreck appear. There it is, 1.09 SU up to the north, so to say. So as soon as we come to a full stop here, let us go back to our script. Slowing down, slowing down, slowing down, slowing down. As soon as we come to a full stop, the radar will sniff out the nearest wreck, and once again you will see the throttle cut down to 1% until such time as we have aligned our prograde with the target, and now it has shifted to 100%, and the screen will say just that, aligned, full throttle engaged, and it will also tell you what kind of wreck it is that we are approaching. So the current wreck is called WSJV499. And it is an S-core, as can be seen on this information screen over here. And now we are accelerating towards the target. It is about 1 SU away. In this game, 1 SU is about 200 kilometers, so we are just south of 200 kilometers away from our target and already going at 3000 kph. As I mentioned before, the Serenity Autopilot, which is currently being showcased here, we'll cut the throttle as soon as we reach about 5,000 kph of speed, which just happened. You will notice it's not exactly 5,000 because the refresher, the part of the script which refreshes and checks our speeds, is set to a few seconds only to minimize the computational impact and therefore maximize the FPS. And it is enough to cut it at around 5,000 kph. It doesn't have to be exactly 5,000 kph. So as we're cruising here now, we still have about 0.6 SU to go. So what I can do is I can manually increase the thrust again, and the autopilot will just accept that as it cuts the thrust only once. So as a pilot, you're still fully in control of your vehicle, and you can go faster if you so desire. Now we have about, 1 more minute remaining until we reach our target. I have now increased it to about 7,000 kph. I will cut it at around 7,000. Here we go. And now we have about 30 seconds remaining to the target. Now the target is not exactly where our wreck sits. So you see the target is about 55 kilometers away, whilst the wreck, it's very hard to tell, but it's about, maybe I can go in here and show it thusly. You will see this wreck is 40, 39, 38 kilometers. Meanwhile, our target destination is only 20 kilometers. So it's a few kilometers closer than the actual wreck. And the reason being that the autopilot approaches the wreck in 3 steps. First, we go to the temp 0 coordinate, which we see in our map. Secondly, we approach these rough coordinates where we are currently about to arrive. And in a third step, the autopilot creates a set of coordinates, which you will notice is just below our wreck. And then it'll approach, setting the throttle to about 20%. And this is what we're about to witness. You can also see it in the little Lua information screen here. It gives us rough coordinates, then it moves on to fine coordinates, which we are at now. It will cut the thrust at 20%, and the speed here can also be limited via Lua parameters, and you will see us approach the target just from below, and the autopilot will stop us just below the target at a set distance. I think it's currently set to about 70 meters. And now what we can do is we can cut the brakes and press space to then manually move up the ship the last few meters. This is a security distance, safety distance to avoid any collisions. And voila, we have arrived at our destination. This is the Serenity Shipyard's autopilot. Thank you for watching. If I go back to our screen now, you will see the WreckHunter has disengaged itself after getting us here and notifying us that we have reached the target. So the rest of the way, most WreckHunters will know, you can move up here, twice up the elevator. You will find yourself on the deck of the ship. And now the way I like doing this is go into build mode and thus reach my wreck, this being an S-core wreck. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Let us enjoy the sunshine and the radiation here in space, and see you next time. Bye-bye.